This is Milestone 3, or Design Alternatives for Marianne and the Boys. We started off with a color theory eyeball because you guys didn't have one in class and we thought it'd be really fun, and we used UGA's official branding style. This slide shows a collaboration for user stories. On the left is our solution from Milestone 2. We thought about professors and students, and we wanted to focus more on the student experience, so we came up with more student experiences on the scan of the whiteboard that we had done. Before we began our design journey, we wanted to have some semblance of uniformity and retain integrity of ELC, because we are not redesigning the entire aesthetic as a whole. We are just trying to better the user experience of the application itself. The first user story we began with is a student at UGA with time-sensitive requests like a deadline. Our empathy map exercise showed that if the user used it before a proposed solution, they might be met with frustration or learned helplessness, because ELC, while poorly designed, is the only in-house application for this university. To help this issue would make better community in classes, better discourse communities, better group mentality, and collaboration becomes easier. Instant messaging is used often for this reason, according to studies found on our website. For these variations, we decided to think about accessibility points and being able to see the chat from all points, especially the home page. The first part that we thought of is a anchored button on the bottom of the page that is available on no matter what part of the website that you're on. The second option is a dedicated messages button and notification overhaul, better filtration of the notifications, which is better for instant gratification and less clicks to get some information. There are some design ideas here that are carried further in UI Design 3 and UI Design 2. The third option that we thought of is an independent chat window. It's detachable and opens a new window with all of the chats. And if the window gets lost, we wanted to keep an anchored open chat button anchored somewhere on the page, whether it be the top or the bottom, and it would send the window to the front. We chose Design 2 to go forward with a high fidelity mockup because it has a unique way to show all of the notifications that ELC has in its system. It would stop the clutter and would simplify the navigation bar greatly. Our second user story is a student at UGA who wants to customize settings for ease of use and accessibility. Bettering this goal would be easier interpretation for users overall and responsiveness to messages, especially because of notifications. This helps make the software accessible to everyone, especially those with vision impairments and those with attention deficiencies. The variation that we came up with first is a side menu categorization that is heavily inspired by iOS setting menus. The second one puts the organization of ELC's existing settings into a robust notifications page with much more visible categories that are easier to be accessed. Lastly, the last variation that we have is a menu categorization that is on the top with tabs and having things like email signature. This simple one would be the best about eliminating vertical scrolling. We really like Design 2 and 3, 2 for basically just reorganizing the existing information that was there, and 3 for making it much more simplified and eliminating vertical scrolling.
For this user story, we picked reacting to messages and finding popular and pinned important messages. We felt like this was a good user story because if the ELC Messenger is used as an online community for class, important messages could be hard to find. While there is not much research on this subject, most Messenger services have a pinned message feature, as well as popular forums, including Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, Reddit, and Piazza. For the wireframes, we took design information from Discord because multiple studies recently have found that Discord increases student interaction when used in class situations. In a recent study by George Ramon, 98% of students felt like they got more help using Discord than they would have without. Features that can facilitate this are a class list organized by people who are aligned, as well as dedicated channels to questions, specifically questions to professors. Our color choices were determined by the UGA style guidelines, as well as our font choices. Our wireframe also had the homepage design that was inspired by GroupMe, but we felt like the design was too far off from what the ELC looks like to be acceptable. The two major design decisions between the Discord-inspired wireframes were between a pop-up menu and a drop-down menu. The drop-down menu had less signifiers, but was significantly less invasive and still allowed the user to use other panels, while the pop-up menu had more open signifiers for customization and filters, but was much more invasive and did not allow the user to use anything else on the page. We felt like a design with more signifiers for the drop down menu, but was still not very invasive, was a good design. With the signifiers for quick actions that Discord already has, and the signifiers for drop down menus for more customization, we felt like it was a good design.
For our fourth and final design, we decided to go with a user story about the disconnect between students and professors. One of the main reasons we chose this user story is because ELC is meant to be a medium between the students and the professors. However, in the way that it's set up at the current moment, it's very difficult for students to reach out to professors for help through ELC. Most professors would use a third-party app such as their email, Piazza, or Calendly for students to be able to ask questions and schedule for office hours. For our first wireframing, we decided to create a whole new communications menu that allows for students to choose communication options based on the course. This separate web page integrates the class system of ELC without interfering with the rest of the website. Our second design includes a help option in the horizontal menu that is under every single ELC class. This creates a new subpage under the current class page that allows the students to view the instructor's office hours and schedule a meeting, create a forum post, send an instant message to the instructor. Our final design simply adds help buttons to assignments, which allows students to create a forum post in the class to ask about the assignment or to ask an instructor about questions regarding to the assignment. On part C, we decided to expand on the third design because the first design is too bulky to be taken advantage of efficiently. Meanwhile, we decided to not move on with the second design because it's adding something to a very crowded horizontal bar on the class page, which contributes to featureitis. Moving forward with our third design has the advantage of adding an affordance to a page that is otherwise used for something very specific. This allows for us to avoid featureitis while adding new features to the website.